Hello and welcome to Whitehorse RV. This will be the video demo of the Mallard Ultralight by Heartland. It is model M231. Starting here is your water heater. It's the back side of it. If you open this up, you'll notice you have a nylon plug down here. This is an aluminum tank, so you only want to use a nylon plug. This is what you would use to drain the water out of the water tank whenever you're letting it sit for a week or longer, or winterizing, you want to empty the water heater. All right, moving around, you'll see here that you have your freshwater fill. This is to fill your freshwater tank. If you're going to be doing dry camping or traveling, you can fill your tank up with fresh water and use your water pump to supply your plumbing system. This is the outside of your heater. Up here, you'll notice there's a vent. It has two little clips underneath there that you have to push and unclip to open, and that is for the fan above your stove. This model also has outside speakers. Coming around, you have your jacks down bottom. These are stabilizing jacks. When you put them down, it keeps the trailer from rocking. You come around and you would have your battery here, which is a marine RV deep cycle battery. It gets charged when you plug the camper in, or if your vehicle's plugged into the 7-way, your vehicle will charge this battery. Here are your propane tanks. This is your regulator. This here lets you select which tank you're using. Coming around, there is also front lights on this model. And you have lights in your compartments, the little button to push to turn them on. And here are your switches for your stabilizing jacks. These here will extend and retract your forward and rear stabilizing jacks. You also have another docking light here. Coming around to this side, this label here gives your information for the coach and your tire pressures. You always want to check your tire pressure before trips and make sure all four are at 50 psi. Coming around, this slide out is on a cable system. And then here is your twist lock power cord. You would connect your cord here, put it in twist, and then plug the other in. It's a 30 amp 110 supply. This is your cable input. For if you're at the campground, you can connect to their cable. This here's your outside shower. Coming down here, you have your sewer output and your valves. You have your gray valve and your black valve. Your black valve is your toilet. Your gray valve is your showers and sink. You can leave the gray valve open while you're camping, but you want to leave the black valve shut. I usually open it about 2/3 and dump the waste out. And it's a good idea that just before you do that, you shut your gray valve, let the tank fill up a little bit so you can use that water to flush out the hose after doing your black tank. Coming over here, you have your city water input. This is where you would put a pressurized hose, either from your house or at the campground. This here has a black tank flush. You put a garden hose in here, but you want to make sure you have the black valve open before you give it water. And you want to make sure you turn the water off to it before you shut the black valve, so you do not fill the tank faster and can vent air. Coming down lower, if you look, are the valves to drain your plumbing system, the hot and cold side for when you're storing it or winterizing it. This model also has a propane connection underneath here. If you were to get a RV grill, you can connect it to there for your propane. Coming inside, we'll show you how to operate the power awning. Here's your switch for your power awning. If you hit out, it's going to run your awning out, and it's going to bring your awning back in. On power awnings, they use a gas strut to push them in and out, so you do not want to leave that out if it's extremely windy. It will pick up too much motion and could damage itself. Here is your slide control to bring your slide in or to bring your slide out. These are just your light switches for your inside and outside lights. Your fire extinguisher is located by the door. Behind this compartment here is the back of your water heater. You have 3 valves. Right now, they're in normal use mode. If you were winterizing it, you would flip all three to the opposite direction they are now, and that would bypass your water heater because there's no need to fill it with antifreeze when you winterize it. Now we will go into the bathroom of the coach. You have your ceiling fan here, which there's a switch right there to turn it on and off. And there's also a switch on the wall. Also your light switch, you have your monitoring panel. It will give you the levels of your battery, your fresh tank, your black, or your gray. And the 2/3 there, when that's all lit up, those three, that's when I would dump the black tank. Your water heater has propane, which if this light comes on, that means your propane did not light on your water heater. This one here is for the 110 side if you're plugged in, and this will power your water pump. Now all the outlets in this are connected to this one GFI. So if you do not have 110 in an outlet, I would check this before you go to the fuse panel. Another important thing is when you're traveling, you want to make sure you have this latch locked so the shower door cannot swing open while in transit. Now coming out here, you have your refrigerator. You turn it on and off by pushing in this button. Now this button selects, do you want it on gas or on auto, where it will use 110 first, and if you lose 110, it'll switch itself to gas. If this light comes on, that means it did not light. Turn it off and try again. Directly above us is your smoke detector. That runs on a 9-volt battery. Now if we come down here, this model has a central vac system. The switch, turn it on. It runs on 110. You have to be plugged in for that to operate. It's a household microwave that also runs on 110. Here's the hood vent that goes to the outside vent I was talking about earlier. Now for your stove, you're going to want to open up the lid. You want to turn it to light, and you want to twist the sparker just like your grill at home. That's what lights, and you turn it off when you are finished. Down here is your fuse panel. You have your 110 and your 12-volt fuses with them all labeled to where they go. Another thing with these models, this slide out does come close to this cabinet, so you want to make sure this is clear before you bring your slide out in. Coming around over here is your radio. This here does your inside and outside speakers. And this model is also a DVD player, which will connect to your TV here. Now, if you look under here, you have your booster switch. With the light, with the switch in and the light on, you're boosting the antenna signal and blocking the cable. You turn it off and the light goes out. Now it'll allow the campground cable to come in and go to your television. And on all these lights, they're all run off a switch, except for the ones that you do see a little button protruding. That is how those will be turned on and off. And on this model does have storage under the bed with an additional extension for a table. And there are outlets by the bed. Your dinette here can be turned into a bed by removing these poles and putting this top on these ledges and using your cushions to fill it in to give yourself an additional bed. Your LP detector is down here. That there will let you know if you have a propane leak inside. That runs on the battery, so if so as long as your battery's connected to the coach, that will be on. So if you're storing this, I would advise disconnecting the ground wire on the battery because the radio's memory and that detector will pull the battery down. And here is your air conditioner right here. This here runs through the ducts. The intakes are these two vents here. There's a filter in here. The simplest way to clean this filter is just to run a vacuum across it. You can pull it down and wash it in a sink. These are fast dumps. If you want to try and cool in here rapidly, you would have them open and it doesn't really push it through the ducts. You shut them and now it pushes the AC through the ducts. Now your furnace vents are on the floor. And to operate them, this is your thermostat. You can select heat, just the ceiling fan that's in the air conditioner, or the air conditioner on. You use this to pick the desired temp for the heater or the AC. And that will conclude our demo of the Mallard. Thank you.